this video, I'm gonna show you how I do this trick where I show you the node tree of what I've graded, and I show you the transition between them and showing the nodes coming on one by one. This is probably the most requested video that I've ever gotten, because if you've followed me on Instagram or ever seen any of my reels, you've probably seen me do this trick all the time. And it's not that intuitive, but it's actually very, very easy. But I kind of kept it for myself just to keep standing out, and I felt like it was my own little trick. But since I'm planning to move more and more away from color grading, slowly starting with Instagram, I've decided to teach you exactly how I do it. So let's head into DaVinci Resolve and let me just show you the very simple and easy trick. All right, so inside DaVinci Resolve, I've just made a horizontal and a vertical timeline, and I've graded both shots so they look the same. And this is the node tree that we're working with. So the first thing I'm going to show you is just how to get the node tree in there and how to isolate it so you don't have this background. And then secondly, I'm going to show you how you can make those transitions so that it swipes by and you can see that the grading is progressively coming. So if you only need the node tree, you can just watch the first part of this video. So what we're going to do now that we have our grade is we're going to highlight all the nodes, and I like to just highlight the red one as my LUT, but it's quite important that all of these has this white outline around them. I find that that works best. Then you're going to take a screenshot. I just use Command-Shift-5 on my MacBook here, and then I just make a screenshot of this little area here. I try to just mark the area that I need, so something like this, and then I just click enter. That grabs a screenshot of that for me, and then I head into my edit page again. From here I'll just bring up my Finder, and I'm gonna go into desktop, and here I'm just gonna grab the screenshot. That's where mine is saved. And to make it easy, I'm just gonna pull it out to the whole screen here, to the whole clip to start with, so that we have it all the way through. First, I want to make it a little bit smaller, so 0.8 is usually pretty good, and then I will just move it, position it where I want it, so -3000 can probably work for this one. And then we're gonna do the magic. So first step is to head back into the color page here, and we need to select the PNG. Now, the first step, you don't necessarily need two nodes, but I like to have two nodes already. This is gonna be HSL, and this is gonna be Power Windows. So on the HSL node, you want to head into effects and you want to search for HSL. I'm not sure if this is a paid feature, but if it is, it might be worth it. Drag that onto this one, and then nothing is really happening. So you need to click on the eyedropping icon here, pick it. And another point to make here before I click anywhere, you need to be at the most graded point of your video. So if you've already cut it up and made the transitions, as I'm going to show you in a second, you need to be on the frame where you have good contrast and the final grade. That's going to help this. So after I clicked on the eyedropper, I'm going to click on the black area here. Still nothing is happening. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to connect these two, alpha output and input. I'm going to right click in my node area here and say add alpha output. And then I'm going to connect the alpha output of the power window node to the alpha output here. What you will see is that the background disappears, and it's actually done a pretty good job, but you can see it's not perfect. There is a few tweaks that we need to make. Now, I've done this more than 100 times, so I'm just going to show you exactly what parameters you want to change. You want to go into Matte Finesse, and then you want to add a slight bit of clean black, so just like 0.5 or something. It doesn't have to be much. You'll just see it just cleans it up a little bit. Then you want to add a little bit of blur radius. You can see that already starts to clean up a little bit more, maybe not that much, maybe around 5. And then you want to take the clean white and you just want to try and move that up quite a lot here. Now, you don't want to be able to see the background. So if you pull it all the way up, you can kind of see the outline of the background of the gray here. You don't want that. So I find that around 50 to 60 usually works pretty good. Now, it's not perfect yet, so we might want to add a little bit more black here. And then we're just going to play around with it until we feel like it's looking good. We can also use the white clip here to kind of try and balance some of the other things out. Because if you go too far, we get this. So you can kind of see where it balances out, and then we just want to drag it back. And now I think we have a pretty good selection. Now it still doesn't look perfect here. That's where you can play around with the blur. So if we add more blur here, that actually looks pretty good, and we still can see the text. That's why when you make the selection, you need to make sure that the background is very nicely graded, because that's going to help the keyer actually key this out. So if you just wanted to showcase your node tree, and you don't want to use Photoshop and a lot of other stuff to cut it out, this is the way to do it. And by highlighting all the notes like we did before, like this, and then taking a screenshot, helps the eyedropper also isolate each of the notes when you do this. So that's quite important to mention in this as well. Okay, so let's say that you want to make them appear as your color grading appears as well. So what you want to do here is we want to head back into our edit tab here, and let's hide our note tree again. Let's say every second, we don't have any music now, but every second we want our video to progress into the next stage here. And for this sake, I'm actually going to do a little bit less. So we're just going to do like around 10 frames, something like this. Go 10 frames more and 10 frames more. And I'm just going to continue doing that until we have a number of clips here, or cuts. Then we're going to head back into our color page, hit to clips, and then we're just going to progress through our grade here. So the first one, I'm just going to turn everything off. That's going to be our log. Then I'm going to turn everything off for the second one, but turn back on the Rec 79 conversion, turn back off again, turn on the note that I want. So in this case, I want to show that I'm putting on the LUT. This is the workflow that I'm using. Turning back on the note that we're using, exposure. We can do it then with the colors. So now we can just turn off these notes, and then we add in the balance. Then we want to add the colors, we want to remove the masking, and then for the last one we just have all of them on. So what does it look like now is without the notes anything, we can play it through and we can see that it changes throughout and it progressively adds the grading that we've done. So now we want to add back on our notes. We want to cut through our notes as well. We could have done that before as well, but this was just easier to show. Then for the first one, since this is locked, we can kind of just delete it because we don't need that one. For the second one, this is where our masking begins. So we want to head to our power window node, and then we want to create a rectangular power node. Where you can see, because we have alpha keyed everything already, it's just going to mark the selection here. So the feathering on the end here, I don't want to be very strong, so I'm just going to feather that in. And then I'm going to move that to the very left side here. Then I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to feather or remove the feathering from the left side here and remove that all the way to the right. So now when it comes in, you'll see that we only have this one, and now the other ones come. And you can kind of get the idea now, I think. A fast way to do it is to click on the previous one, hit Command C, Control C, I guess, on Windows, and then Command V here. Now I can just add another mask here, and because it's in the middle of the note tree, I can add my note here and I can make it smaller. And now I have this one, and then I can just progress through that throughout the whole thing. So just adding this one, and you can see I'm going pretty quickly now because I think you get the idea. So just gonna add everything. Then we did the coloring, and then for the last one, I like to do it for the last one as well, even though technically we don't need to have any masking on this one. And now it looks like this when we play back. Okay, so how do we add the transitioning effect? So if you go to Effects, go to Video Transition and search for Edge. It's the edge wipe that we want. I have mine set to always being 12 frames. I think that works pretty well. The angle, we want it to come from left to right. That is 90 degrees. And then I like to add an in-out ease as well. And then we simply just add that one to all of our notes. And now we have a problem because I made the time between them so short. So we're just gonna have to make these shorter, but normally I would have more time between them for the reels that I make. So now we can just hold down Option and then drag them between all of them. Now they're only 6 frames. Something like this, adding them to all of them. If I could hit the right spot. Okay, now it looks like this. Okay, so we've added it to the screen or to the note tree, and we've added it to our clip. Now the last part is if you want to add text, you can simply just remove the search here, head to title. What I like to do is I like to just add Helvetica New, make it quite a lot smaller, so something like 4 or maybe even 3. Put it down a little bit lower here, something like this. Add some shading in tab 3. Black shadow, I like to add 25%. And now I'm just gonna cut my background here as well, and then I can say Canon log 3, Rec 79 conversion, LUT, everyday cinematic, exposure, balance, color, slice plus curves, and then the last one is masking. Okay, and then we add our transition here to all of these as well, something like this. There we go. Now, that works pretty well. You can add some sound effects, whoosh effects to kind of enhance the feeling of it going past. You can do it to the beat of the music, and you can do it however you want. So this works pretty much the exact same on a vertical timeline. So we could just take everything that we've just done here, just for fun, put it in here as well. Now everything will be very, very tiny, so it didn't really fully work, but the exact same thing applies to a vertical timeline as well. There's not really any difference in that. So that's how I do it. That's how I've been doing it all the time, and you can play around with this however you want. Now the tip is yours. Be quick. If a lot of people watches this, it might not be that unique anymore in a few months. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.